so let me pull up the patch notes here. Patch 9.0. So it's not. We're not even at like patch 1. Is that really like the thing? Well, there's a video. Oh, sweet. Okay, hold on. Pause you. YouTube you. Pause you again. That off. Okay. Alright, so let's see. Let's go ahead and watch this really fast. Lux is now a 4-5? Holy shit. Okay, Yasuo getting buffed. Dropping him to 5 units so that Roar... Okay. Anything on the other side? No. Deny nerf. I was hoping they wouldn't do that. I was hoping they'd find a different way to do that. Ooh. Was that 60 FPS? Okay. Oh, okay, so they've actually... Good. Okay. Okay, hold on. There was... Back here. This is good. They still don't, like... explain why there's a difference, but knowing what is a skill and what is not is actually kind of important. What was this? Was this 60 FPS? It was, okay. We'll get into the patch notes, but right now, like, my immediate reaction is, like, I was hoping they wouldn't do this. I was hoping they would find a different way around nerfing Deny. Because kind of the whole purpose behind it was, you know, you could hold up Deny after playing a bunch of shit on your turn. But this does allow, like, this makes Ruination probably a little bit stronger now, because opponent still has to kind of, you can still hold it up. It's not like it's dead card. You can still just hold up 1 mana extra. So it delays you like an extra turn maybe on something. But we'll see. We'll see how that is. Yeah, you can't spell mana it. I think that was their point, and I'm sure when I read the explanation, that'll be the thing. Is like we're seeing that spell mana deny is like kind of a problem. But okay, so that was the patch notes in a nutshell. But let's actually get into the actual patch notes. But you're right. Yeah. Okay. So, balance and set lists. This patch includes the first balance updates of the beta, and many players' first balance updates since starting LOR. I'd like to briefly recap our goals and how you expect to see them manifest over several patches that happen between new card releases. Several patches between card releases, okay. When we look at the balance in LOR, consider change, we have some high-level aspirational targets we use to guide our long-term efforts. So these are essentially like their actual goals for the entire game. Every champion should have a deck where they best fit and a dream can be realized. So far there are some champions that just don't fit that. Lux I think is one of them. Kalista I think is another. Let's see, who else would be... I mean Darius kind of fits, Jinx kind of fits. Heimer and Ez have their own decks entirely. I'm trying to think of other champions that maybe don't have like a deck that they fit in. But Lux is definitely one of them that just doesn't fit anywhere. Karma, I think, is probably another one. Non-champion cards should have at least one deck where they're a good option. Regions should have at least one competitively viable deck. Meta should support the widest possible array of competitively viable decks. Those are all good goals, good aspirational goals. While buffing cards in pursuit of these targets is the fun part, we will also power down cards where necessary. That's actually like kind of a good thing. And this is something that like they get to do, while other card games like Magic, they don't. They have to design them in a vacuum and hope that by the time they release, like everything's fine. But the fact that they're looking forward to actually buffing cards, rather than just like nerf everything down into like garbage level, You don't want to see that. And like there's a part of fighting games where this happens too, where instead of buffing cards that are not, or sorry, buffing characters that are not like seeing play or good, they just nerf everybody down into the trash can, allowing like 1 or 2 characters still to dominate, which kind of suck. And then there's the whole like DLC problem with that too, which you'll get in card games as well, where additional sets get released, cards that are new kind of like completely, you know, overpower other cards or make certain other cards obsolete. When we do, we want to avoid overnerfs. Cards and archetypes actually remain viable, as well as minimize collateral damage to cards decks that aren't the actual target. We fully plan to monitor changes rather than drop them and forget. We will make further tweaks in future patches as needed. Additionally, we approach balance with a seasonal mindset, adjusting our methods as meta goes through different stages between sets of new cards. Once we're out of beta and into our regular cadence of releasing new sets, should something like this. A new set of cards get released, first balance patch, mostly medium-sized number changes based on early sense of outliers, a secondary balance patch, and then a third. So their plans are 3 balances in between new sets. Okay. And they don't want to change champions in the first wave. They would rather change champions in the second wave. I mean, that makes sense, because this gives you, like, alright, here's all these new cards, let people break them. Certain cards are obviously seeing, like, way too much play, so let's, like, drop that down and boost up some that aren't seeing any. Don't change any champions. And then, okay, like, hey, champion X is not doing so hot, let's buff it. Champion Y is doing too well, drop it down. And then not changing a ton of shit right before a new set releases, because that always sucks, right? Magic has seen this happen, where it's like 1 month before a new set comes out and we have to ban a card, like, and you don't know what's gonna happen, and then it stays banned for a year because they just ignore it. Poor what was it, Raptidon? Frostidon? I think it was Frostidon. It was banned because it was too good in one set, and then like a year and a half later, it was rotating out, and they were just like, oh yeah, by the way, this card's now, like, you know, unbanned. Makes no sense. Just to be clear, this is a pretty loose framework, so be ready for some exceptions. But it describes our intent to make sure card changes support the experience of discovering all possibilities in your set and meta. Good. That's good to read. UI, deck builder, and animations. Heard a bunch of players' feedback regarding UX and usability issues. We already started to address this. We'll work on them now, including some small changes. Issues with the deck builder because it's trash. You know, it's important to get the experience into a higher quality. We've got a few improvements in this patch. Down the line, you can expect to see a redesign of how card counts are displayed. Good. As well as how many cards you'll be able to see the screen at once. Good. I should be able to see the entire deck on my screen. There should not be a scroll bar for a 40 card game. That's Hearthstone has 30, and you can see everything. Not that big of a deal. In the future, we'll also look at how we display your various currencies and wildcards, make card crafting easier. Yeah, it is kind of weird how I can't see my wildcards and my shards while I'm building a deck. I have to go to the store to see that. That doesn't make any sense. So, good. Throughout the beta, we've been looking for ways to improve, make gameplay snappier, more responsive. Link of some animations have come up as something we can improve, like Fiora's win. We want to make our game look good, of course, but also needs to feel good. We don't want visual effects to feel excessive in a way that obstructs gameplay. Upcoming patches, you'll see sped up animations and increased freedom to make moves without being blocked by in-progress animation. Good. Thank you for that. Alright, card updates. So, Lux. Lux gets a buff. From a 3-4 to a 4-5 on the front end, and to a 5-6 on the back end. Her ability does not change. Lux's weaker stat line made it a little too difficult to utilize her as a linchpin. Build around me card. Upping her stats will help her ability to stick around as an engine and act as a meaningful threat on her own. Yeah, because, like, you need to be able to play her and then cast spells afterwards in order to flip her. Was she really dying that fast as a 3-4? I feel like 4 is a pretty good spot of health for a 6-mana card. Huh. I mean, I guess, sure. Yasuo. They dropped it from 6 to 5 on his stun. That's gonna be pretty good. While testing Ionia changes internally, we found that Yasuo was catching collateral damage from changes aimed at elusive and hand buff decks. Inspiring Mentor was one of the best cards to utilize while leveling up Yasuo. Together, with Deny, would provide pivotal protection. We've also found Yasuo often difficult to level up in expeditions. Especially when not paired with Noxus. This quest buff should address both. Yeah, 4 versus 5 doesn't necessarily matter a lot. But we'll see if Lux... I feel like it's not her stat line. It's a combination of her ability and her... Especially, like, a 3-4 with barrier, by the way. I feel like it's a combination of her ability and her mana cost that are just like, there's better things to be doing. Okay, so Yasuo gets a little bit of a buff. Back to back, now costs 6. Ooh, okay, that's gonna be interesting. I don't know how much that changes that, but one of the things we love about Loire is the combo tricks are very playable and are constructed map very playable. It's the only thing. It really contributes to compelling interactive gameplay moments. That said, back to back can be a huge blowout at burst speed. Leaves opponents without profitable avenues for playing around it. I don't think that's going to change much. Going from 5 to 6 in a game that allows you to save 3 mana, I don't think changes anything. If you're trying to nerf back to back, you drop the buff. Like, it would be fine as like a 5 cost +2/+2. Like, that's still really good. Arena Battlecaster is now a 2/2. Battlecaster isn't seeing a ton of use, so it's getting a small buff to help it line up better with other 2-drops and make it a more compelling option for Noxus. Yeah, so it doesn't get Vile Feasted now. That's pretty good. Crimson Curator is now a 3/3. Valscar's decks have been underperforming, and the Noxus side of the theme has been a bit one-dimensional. Improving Crimson Curator should increase both options and viability. That's big. They can get a 3/3 for 3? That's pretty good. That's huge. It's gonna take a lot more to actually like kind of kill him now, outside of like Black Spear or something. So we're gonna start seeing that shit a little bit more, huh? Deny now from 3 to 4. Deny is moving from watch list to change list after internal testing and debate. There are good arguments for Denied to exist at 3 mana. Ultimately, it's proven too prevalent and disruptive to the metagame, heavily restricting viable card options. When testing this change internally, found that play patterns involving Denied tended to feel more fair. Holding up Deny now always costs at least 1 mana per turn that you'd otherwise use to develop your board. Cost it makes for more involved decision making than one with Deny, which is fully castable. Yeah, basically you have to like wait a extra turn or something in order so you can cast a Zed and hold up 4 mana instead of just like a Zed on 3. Like, you can't avalanche me because I have Deny mana. Slows them down a little bit, you know. Inspiring Mentor is going from a 1/1 to a 1/2, and is granting +1/+0 instead of +1/+1. Okay. I don't know about the health buff, but okay. Inspiring Mentor was proving too much curve efficiency and resilience to Ionia decks. Stats granted to the buffed unit, often overly protecting them by putting them out of range. Only cost removal, curving Inspiring Mentor into 1 or even 2 4/3 Navori Conspirators. Yeah, was a problem. So this makes Avalanche better. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. It makes Avalanche a lot better. Like, they still get the power play, right? Of like turn 1 Mentor into turn 2 Conspirator, but I can now clear their board afterwards. Jeweled Protector from a 3/3 to a 4/4? Okay, that's gonna fuck up Expedition. This change is complementary to one of the other complementary to the one made to Inspire Mentors. Don't want to over nerf the hand buff archetype. Shifting power from Mentor to Protector and into later parts of the game should increase deck building options. They want people to play Protector more than the Curve. But that's gonna, dude, that makes that card so much better in Expedition. Now it's just a 4/4. Lifeblade from a 3 power to a 2 power. It's kind okay, let me read the explanation first before I go into my thought. Previously mentioned that we'd be keeping an eye on Alicia's strategies and working to identify specific candidates to adjust. One of the weaknesses is that fast decks should be able to effectively race them since illusion units are naturally smaller and less cost efficient. Sure. Lifeblade often closes that door, which should be a fundamental weakness, so we're adjusting its stats to decrease blocking power. Nobody ever blocked with this, but sure. So the thing is, like, what made the elusive strategy a problem wasn't necessarily that their creatures like had too much power for their cost, but you could just buff them infinitely, like with Inspiring Mentors and the Green Glade bitch, and like, so it was less of a power problem and more of just like they were too good at what they did. Like, and the nerf to Inspiring Mentor, I think, changes a lot of that. So I kind of would have liked to have seen this as just normal with this nerf, but this is fine too. Oh, please. He's now a 9 mana, 9/6. Sweet buttery Jesus. They didn't change him. Why? Why didn't they change him? Why? Metalodros, new powerful game-ending bomb that also acts as a recursive threat, is flexible to boot, offering both excellent stabilization, close games, and close out potential for aggro decks that might otherwise come up short. Overall, Edros is a bit too good at undoing whatever previously happened in a game, especially for a card that doesn't require any synergy to be effective. The card does so much to incur a higher opportunity cost. Provide opponents more room to win before and after its drop. So we're bumping its cost up to 9, which will delay Ledra's arrival, but also allow less flexibility when recasting it to partially compensate. We're bumping Ledra's power by 1. Yes, you can. That's what that means. Cut health in half, rounded up. If you're at 1, half of 1 is 0.5. Round up from 0.5 is 1. Kill you. That's how that works. He already rounded up. It has to round down. Unless they can't English. Like, they just clarified it. Yeah, unless Riot can't English, that's how that works. It already works the way it does. It's just now clarified on his card, which is not what I wanted to see from Ledros. Should be round down. And they made him stronger. So what if he comes out at 9 instead of 8? Well, time to just play Ledros control, I guess. Rasa. Rasa now costs 8 instead of 7, but doesn't change. That's kind of shitty still. Also offers consistent blowout potential across many matchups, and the required setup is cheap to achieve in Shadow Isles. It often makes Rasa difficult for opponents to properly play around and can leave them in a rough state. They know they're going to get Rasa, but there's not much they can do about it. Yeah. Rate was just too favorable, so we're bumping Rasa up to 8 mana in order to give opponents more room to play against it. Like, here's... In any other game, I would tell you that is a decent change. In any other game. In Hearthstone, in Magic, like Mythgard, Eternal, whatever. Because you are given a whole turn before you can cast this card again. But in Runeterra, that's not how that works. I get to cast it anyway. So what? I don't get to cast Ledros on my turn 8. I just get to do it on your turn 8, because I now have 9 mana. They need to take a second look at how these cards are getting played. Because just changing mana cost by 1 is not going to do anything. The actual text needs to be changed. Like, I mean, so this now makes it a defensive card instead of an aggressive card, right? Because on turn 7, I can't make a shitty attack into you because you're going to get Rasa. But on your turn, when I have 8 mana, you can't attack me because then I Rasa you anyway. There's no difference there, other than like the turn I get to play it. Especially when the text doesn't change. Scuttlegeist. Reduce my cost for 1 each ally. Oh, they're giving him Fearsome. Okay. That's not bad. Remove some raw power from Shadow Isles with the other changes. It's just doing too many things too well. I didn't see any changes. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, they must be below. I see Wraithcaller here. On the other hand, we want to help players build more synergy-driven Shadow Isle decks. So we're providing small buffs to Scuttlegeist and Torch Prodigy. Okay, sure. Wraithcaller does not have Fearsome anymore. Good. It shouldn't. Wraithcaller has been dominant value for Fearsome-based decks. Combination 2 bodies boosting all Myth Race. Innovation made this among the most efficient cards in OR. Considering the free Myth Wraith already comes with Fearsome, we're cutting the keyword from Wraithcaller to reduce the amount of evasion and overall value it puts on the board. Yeah, because like the Fearsome deck's just every creature you couldn't block. Similar to Elusive. On the watch list, LOR is built around Fearsome and Control are put on the watch list. So LOR is built around Central Pattern Interactive Interesting Combats. The reasons we're keeping an eye on Elusive decks and ultimately made some changes to that. When firing all cylinders, they remove much of that interactivity. Oh, like what I said the other day. In large concentrations, Fearsome can have a similar impact. Once it becomes very difficult to block, the point of interaction shrink. A lot of the interesting back and forth in the game disappears. Now we think the changes this patch will provide some existing tools. With counter pressure on Fearsome, we'll keep an eye on it. Okay. And Control. Collectively, card updates in this patch represent a general reduction in the power of tools that aggressive and mid-range decks have. Combat Control strategy. Do they? While Control decks haven't been problematic so far during beta, we'll be keeping an eye out to see if they've been overly powered up by these changes. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of these changes are gonna affect Expedition for sure. Like this one, that's huge for Expedition. This is huge for Expedition. This is huge for Expedition. This is big for Expedition. It doesn't matter. Alright, what else do you have here? Heard feedback that it can be hard to tell whether units effect will allow opponents to react or not, so we've added that info into tooltips. Units with effects that allow opponents' reactions that have skills icon. Yep. Great cards now have a tooltip that tell both players what 3 of them. Okay. Expedition archetypes. Pretty happy with the diversity strategies and archetypes that can perform well in expeditions, but are making some tweaks. Mastian Steel has been consistently overperforming due to a full roster of units with strong stat lines, so we're adding in a common card on the weaker side, mixes up what this archetype brings to the table. So they're adding Chain Vest into Demacian Steel. Battle Scars are proving great at pumping up power units, could have a tough time actually closing out games. The addition of Might was... Oh, so they're adding Might into Battle Scars, okay. And removing Blood for Blood and Bolt Bottleneck. Suit Up, they're removing Wild Alpha Claw. Okay. Boom and Boom. They removed Get Excited. But they didn't take out the other one. I was surprised they didn't take out the Puffcat Peddler. Leading us to remove some underperforming cards like Get Excited, which isn't exciting when you're hoping to use your Mushroom Puffs actual shrooms in the opposing deck. In place, we're adding Assembly Bot, Positive Guardian, as well as Static Shock. It's a minor influence the way Shopkeeper selects trades, so you so you'll more often be offered compelling choices. Okay. Reward changes. Plays my simply because it was the optimal way to get XP. First up, end of trial bonus XP was too high relative to other modes. The bonus XP is meant to account for the slower pace of expeditions and time spent drafting, but it was so high that it was really just the optimal way to grind XP. It was. We don't want players to feel forced to grind expeditions to build the collection, so we're reducing the XP. Okay, so they're nerfing expedition reward. Makes sense. I mean, like, getting to 6 and 7 wins and granting you like if you went 6 and 7, like that's half of your vault in like an hour and a half. So makes sense. It kind of sucks though. Yeah, just cut it in half is pretty much it. To complement the change, we're tweaking daily adjustments to PvP to help out folks looking to heavily grind experience points or just play a ton. Want to make sure constructed PvP wins always offer a reward and that players don't feel forced to play AI matches just because they're out of PvP XP for the day. My friend was literally complaining about this the other day. Reduced XP adjustments for daily PvP. You'll now receive more XP at high numbers of PvP wins in one day. You'll always receive at least 100 experience points. So the base is 200. Okay. Okay, that makes... Okay, I see. So, the base experience points is 200. After 15 wins, we used to be minus 50. So you used to get 150. Now you're getting the full. 16 to 20, you're getting half. And then beyond that, you will always get half. So you can infinitely play PvP and always get 100 experience points, rather than you eventually lost. You would get none. We're also redesigning the XP structure to Friend Challenge. While we want matches against friends to be rewarding, the previous values only encourage snap concessions and win-loss trading to reach full PvP. People were actually doing that. Just get with a friend and be like, alright, I'm going to concede 10 in a row, you concede 10 in a row. Weird. Yeah, I mean, I was even surprised that they offered experience points for friend challenges. Why would you? Makes no sense. Moving on to expedition rewards, we've heard some frustration that a 6-win run reward only 33% of the shards needed to play another expedition. While we believe overall expedition rewards are in a good spot, we're shifting some of the reward shards from 7 to 6. Okay. Sure. So, less of a feels bad moment. So it rewards you half the next expedition. Okay. FPS options for PC. Deck builder improvements, board visuals. Gimbal rewards on region rewards now more strongly highlighted. Okay. Anivia's summoned from deck will now correctly level up if her condition has been met. So that bug got fixed for Anivia. Massive nerfs to high APMers. Players can no longer discard the same card, do multiple spinning axes by quickly chaining them. You could do that? Okay. I guess. Interesting. Alright, cool. Overall thoughts. These are still two big problems. I think they're not missing the point, but like I think they're grossly underestimating their entire mana system. 8 to 9 is not that big of a deal when I can just 7 to 8 is not that big of a deal when I can just completely undo every mistake I've I get the point is that these are supposed to be control cards, right? Like, they're supposed to be finishers to the game that has built up, you know, over 10 turns. And I now go to turn 9 and cast Ledros. I would have, if they were gonna do this, like, put it to 10 or something, so that you can't have Deny up at the same time, or some weird shit like that. So we'll see. Luckily, like, it's along the same lines of what I was kind of hoping for, where it's not like massive changes to everything. Let's flip the entire game up on its head. There's some good changes. I think this one's going to be a big change. That's going to change a lot of the way people play. And it may make certain decks just slightly worse. But you're just gonna see a shitload of these too, more so than anything. Wraithcaller actually might be worse now because it loses Fearsome. I don't know if those decks are gonna want to play him. They're definitely not playing these two cards though. They would rather just play like a fucking like Lifeblade or something at 4 mana rather than any of those other ones. And Lux is still probably not gonna be. But I'm alright with it. I'm not mad. I'm not super thrilled. I'm only annoyed at this one. But oh well, we'll see what happens.